Hey, welcome back. I have a little bit of a different video today, sort of an automotive type of project. I'm adding some trailer brakes onto my wife's car so we can pull a trailer on a camping trip. So the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I couldn't see a video on adding trailer brakes on this specific vehicle, and I wanted to show one, even though the process itself is no different than any other vehicle. Putting a power to a brake controller, running that power to the back to the hitch. That's no different. But I wanted to highlight some of the differences of this specific vehicle. This is a 2002 Toyota Sequoia. It already has the tow package, but it only has a 4-prong plug instead of the, oh my gosh, where are we? So it only has a 4-prong, which is not sufficient for trailer brakes. So, but it does have the hitch, and it has the relay, which is necessary for the lights on the back. So with that, I'm just adding some wires, and I'll run through where I did. So let me start off on tearing the things apart. So here's what it should look like with the panel taken off. There's 4 screws that hold this panel on, and I'll go through on the other side and show you. You have a screw here, a screw under this cover, a screw under that cover, and there's one on the front. I'll go over and look at that one. These come off. They're kind of like they pull out. I just grabbed them with some pliers and pulled out, and then they pop off the top and bottom. You have to pull off this strip first on the bottom, the whole thing. There's this little push tab here. I actually broke it when I took it off. I don't know if I've never had any luck getting those off and being able to reuse them. So I might just throw a screw back in to hold that tight. Once you get all the screws off, it snaps off, and it's held all the way through with these clips. So they're all reusable, and it comes off pretty easily. You do have to remove the seat belt on this side. That's a 14mm bolt. Make sure that when you put it back on, you torque it, because that has a very specific torque rating. I'll find that and put it on the screen if I can find it. But it's very specific torque rating for the safety of the seat belt. So once you get that undone, it just slides out and goes to the back. So that exposes that side so you can run the wires. If you wanted to be lazy, you could just run the wires underneath on the frame, but I would consider this the more professional way to run the wire, because it keeps it hidden, and this is how it would be professionally done. So with that, the back panel off, we got this panel off. I'm going to try and do it without taking the center panel off, although it's only held by the seat belt and I think one screw, and then just snaps. But I should be able to just fish the wire up inside of there. And then same on the front. This lower piece is off, and then this side panel, and that's pretty easy too. There's one screw in the back here that I just did by hand, and then it just pulls off. And this is where I got to so far. In this Sequoia, I found that right under here, under the ignition, seemed to be a pretty nice place for the controller. I'm using a Toyota I'm using a Toyota Prodigy P2, and it's one of the nicer ones. Should work pretty good for this one and what I'm planning on pulling. So there's only 2 wires for the vehicle that you have to worry about. The others are just ground, battery, and then brake to the back. So it's not really that. It's really not a lot of work other than getting to everything. So we got to take this panel off, and to get to the brake, the red wire for the brake. Put it on the cold feed on the brake. That's the side that gets power when you push the pedal. That tells the brake controller to send power to the trailer. So let's do that first. All right, so I want to show you which connector is your cold side. This is the brake pedal. I've got the panel taken off. It's the only way to get to this. So I've disconnected the two just for access. But the one you need to connect to is this. It's a brown with a black tracer. Now there's 2 identical wires. They're both brown with black black with brown tracers. But they're not the same. So this upper one right up here, that's your cold wire. That's the one you got to connect to. And I'm gonna add a splice right here for that goes to your controller. That activates it. So I'm gonna put a splice, and I hate these splices. I never trust them, but I couldn't find anything else in such short time. So I'll put this on this wire. It would be nice if I could solder onto the back of it. I don't have the tool to take those apart. Not that. Hey, look, I found my third hand. She talks too much, but she works.
Is this going on YouTube?
Oh my gosh, shush.
Dad?
Hey, you're not supposed to talk behind the camera.
Why?
Okay, once that red wire is connected, I was thinking I could run this on the back, although it's not long enough. I'm actually going to run the wires. I'm going to use this old hole. This was for an infrared receiver for a TV that we don't use anymore. I'm going to use that. I'm going to run the wires through that to connect onto here. Whoops. That'll be a little cleaner look, and just be a little more professional. So, and I won't have to drill any new holes. So that'll be next. All right, so this is important. You've got to run a 12 gauge wire. This is a 12 gauge THHN. I think you can use MTW without any problem. But you need to connect onto the positive battery terminal. And here's one rule I always follow. Don't ever drill a hole in your firewall. There's always a place to get through the firewall. Right here, there was a little piece, almost like an expansion spot. I just took and clipped that off, and I was able to get it right through there. Okay, so make sure you use a 12 gauge wire. And you got to have an amp, a fuse, 30 amp fuse. You can either use this type, or there's a automatic reset type. Okay, let's go inside and connect it inside, and we'll come back out and cinch that up. So this just goes to the black wire. The only reason I did it blue is because blue runs to the back anyways. if I was, okay, I'm not professional. I should have done black and then blue, but I didn't have any black, so this works. All right, so here's why I ran it along the existing harness. So it goes all the way along, goes around everything. It adds a little bit more wire, but now I know when I put the panel back on, I won't pinch a wire or catch anything, and I got it zip tied everywhere I can. There's about a dozen or so zip ties along there. The same with going underneath the doors. So, and then as I come down, I'm actually able to go down through that grommet, and that's actually the 4-wire for the existing trailer lights right now. So it goes underneath, and here's where we do our end connections. So come down. Now I noticed that this is what I'm connecting here. It's a 7-pin. I noticed that the box didn't have the bracket in there, so do not hang it like this. That's not proper, but I'm just gonna secure it there until I can make a bracket. I guess that'll be a whole nother video. And on the plug, and then so some other things that this plug has. This is a 7-pin. If your trailer has a 6-pin, then you'd only run this single wire. But the 7-pins have some other auxiliary connections, which I didn't run for these. One is a battery connection, so you can actually charge the battery on your trailer. I've never had a trailer that can actually do that, so I never run that. The other is and that would just be run a separate, maybe a black wire, clear from the battery on its own separate circuit, its own separate breaker, all the way back here and connected to the black. And then the purple is for a backup. And I'm not as familiar with those. From what I understand is on some trailers with backup or with disc brakes, you can either do this with backup lights on your trailer, or some trailers with disc brakes actually have to have power to them to disengage to back up. So I believe that's what one of the parts that's for. So I don't have a trailer with that, so I didn't worry about that either. You can see it wouldn't be that hard to add a wire at this stage, but I don't have any trailers that I need it, so I'm not going to worry about all that extra wire. But yeah, that's it. So the last thing is just put it back together, and then I'll have to make a bracket. Oh, and then ground. There's a ground on this side, and I just used, this is the factory. This is what's nice with this plug, is it's got it comes with this 4-plug, or the 4-wire plug, and that saves me a lot of splicing, because I just plug it into the stock or the factory plug that comes out of that wiring harness, and there you go. There's 4 wires already done, or 3 wires, and then the ground, and so I only had 6 wires to add. So let's get this put back together. Oh, that was dumb. Here's one of those, holds that netting in the back. That's how it pops out. Just have to pull on it. You have to really yank on it. There we go. See that? Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you find that helpful and informative. I'm putting in a trailer brake controller in a Toyota Sequoia. Of course, if you're running a boat or something and you need that backup wire, same thing, just run another wire or a battery. Check out my other videos if you like fabrication and little DIY projects. I'm working on a go-kart right now. It's pretty awesome. Hit that subscribe button. See ya.